I'll just do a 30-second rant. Does height matter? Yes, height matters, but it is somewhat important. But the actual number one factor for attractiveness for men is actually muscularity. So height definitely matters though. But like, dude, Justin Mark is like 5'2". He weighs like 6 pounds. Like my buddy Patrick Red is pretty short. Owen is short. Like I've had short students, dude. I had a student that was 5 foot tall. Like, yeah, I've seen tons of short guys get girls firsthand, so I know it's possible, and they've even dated them. However, it is more difficult. I'm not gonna like beat around the bush. It is more difficult. You definitely need more game. You need more lifestyle. Justin Mark has his lifestyle like perfectly set up, so he's like a promoter. Can you change your height? I'll give 3 price categories. Shoe lifts, $15. You can literally increase your height. If you get like boots and then put a shoe lift in the boot, you can increase your height by like 2.5 inches without looking too janky for about $15. Then you can get specialty shoes. These can go anywhere from between like 1 inch and like 5 inches to your height. They're called Calto shoes, CALTO shoes. And then the most expensive option, you can actually get limb lengthening surgery. I've actually had a student do this. It's $100,000. It's actually here in Florida is like the most innovative surgery at the Paley Institute. It's called limb lengthening. And it's usually for people who have problems, like they're born with like shorter limbs on one side of their body versus the other. But
you could become a cripple though if you do that. So that would be like the last, like, I don't know, man. Like,
so I'll talk about his progress. A complete year till he was able to jump and run again. But after like, it was like 1 month in a wheelchair, 1 month in crutches, and then he could walk, but like very slowly. And then it was just building up. And he gained 2.5 inches of height. So if you invested that same $100,000 into shoe lifts, we did the math on this, you'd be 1/4 mile tall. And think of all the girls that you would get if you were 1/4 mile tall with shoe lifts.
At that point, I'd rather go for hookers. I don't know. Like at that point, I'd just go for like, sugar babies. I just pay for it. If I'm gonna do that, just pay for bitches.
It's the fact that you're a cripple for like 3 months. That to me is the biggest drawback. Like I would never risk my ability to walk. Like that to me seems like imagine like you're just fucked for life. Like I don't know.
And then also, I can't imagine that you probably would have poor stability the rest of your life.
What?
Cupid Schmoopin. I never heard of that.
Oh no, never heard of that.
So he was like this short guy that did he used to collab with Vadim back in the day from Honest Signals. And he's literally 5 feet tall. And he had really good results with girls. And like his infields are great. Yeah. But like I said, it's harder, right? But I think the main thing to avoid is falling into a victim mindset.
Yeah.
Right? Because your height's largely outside of your control. But you can say, hey, I have slightly less percentage chance of getting each particular girl, but I'm still going to pursue them and act like I'm the shit regardless. Or you can just be a victim and be a faggot and like cry yourself to sleep every night. I would say, and that's it. In that case, it's actually kind of
all the black girls watching this are like, I'll be a faggot.
Yeah, I forgot to say one other thing. Height is not equal throughout the world. There are countries where the average male height is like 5'4".
Yeah,
like if you go to Guatemala and you're 5'5", you're like taller than average. So you can geomax. If you can't short, max your height with $100,000, geomax.
Yeah. Geomax and go to Asia. You'll be fine. Southeast Asia. If you go to like rich Asian countries, it won't matter.
So I bet you guys have gone to clubs and seen girls approach really tall guys. I've seen it. I saw it last week. These girls approached a guy who was like 6'4", and part of me was like, oh man, if I was 6'4", I would have got approached. They were average, right? They weren't super hot girls. It's gonna happen. 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" guys are gonna get freebies. So what? Like, it's easy to tell yourself that you have this inferiority complex. It's not gonna happen. Girls with big tits are gonna get approached more. Guys who are 6'4" are gonna get approached more. Doesn't mean you can't get the other girls, right? Like, it just is what it is. Like, it's a disadvantage to not be 6'4". So what? That's like the top 1%. Who cares?
That's a good point, dude. Hot girls never approach guys. Doesn't matter how attracted they are to them. But like the
very rarely
looking or below average looking girls, they approach guys
cute
all the
girls
time, which is why.
But like
I get
and
approached
tens
even when I
never.
don't dress well.
Very rare.
Who knows what that's
Oh, is that quote?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Even when I don't dress well.
Well,
Yeah,
I think that's also why, like, you know,
I get approached.
think
No, he
that,
says
like,
like I get
the
approached like
Chad
10 times a
guys-
day. Something. This is a height percentile calculator. So
Uh,
let's say female, and let's put, for example, the country Colombia, and let's say your height is like 5 foot, 6 inches. So you can calculate in that country, you're taller than 89% of women. And let's say if we put it back on the US and you're 5'6", you're taller than 78% of girls. But one thing you could do is say, like, let's say you got the shoes, right? And you added 2 inches to your height, 78 to 93. So you can calculate, like, my old assistant was 5'4". So if he adds 2.5 inches, he adds like, what is that? 30% more girls he's taller than, which is literally the main criteria, because girls like that little bit of guys being taller than them.